So, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet have been out for about a week now as we're recording this video, and I've got some thoughts on this new generation of Pokemon, as I'm sure everybody else does. So I thought, why not? Let's do a little tier ranking video where you guys can roast my opinions in the comments. Before we start, obviously make sure to hit that like button for the algorithm and subscribe if you're new here, and let's get started. So first things first, quick rundown of the tiers. From top to bottom, starting with the creme de la creme, we've got the God tier, going down to Stunning, then Solid. For our mid-level Pokemon, we've got Growing on Me and Basic Bitch. And then bottom of the barrel, we've got Just Bad and Get in the Bin, for those truly nightmare-fueled mons. And I'm aware that the list below isn't in dex order, but we will be ranking these in their order that they're on Bulbapedia, which should be their national dex order. And with that, Sprigatito is a cat. It's cute, has the typical kawaii face we've come to expect from Pokemon, and has good line and shape language. But it's on the blander side? Still solid though. Florigato is the inevitable humanoid furry evolution. It's kind of cool though, it's boyish, runs like Naruto, and attacks with a flower yo-yo. Love it, stunning. I'ma piss some people off with how much I love Meowscarada. It's Dark Magician Girl meets Knight from Sonic in an outfit that was made for Cardcaptor Sakura. It's my dark magical girl fantasy in furry cat form, and I love it. I'm sorry, God tier. The only Pokemon from the starter group that beats Meowscarada in how much I love it is Fuecoco. It's a chili pepper dinosaur. I would die protecting this little boop. Easily God tier. And from there we go downhill. Crocodile is special. Obviously the kind of awkward middle evo. He's kind of dumb looking all round, but his dumbness has kind of grown on me the more I've played the games. Skeledirge, on the other hand, is an outright disgrace to all things a good character designer should do. Its shape language is all over the place, and the purple throws the colour palette out of whack. It is full of unnecessary, what I can only describe as bits. I haven't seen such a Gen 5 looking Pokemon since Gen 5. I wanted to like Fuecoco's final evolution so much, but this is a disaster. Skeledirge can well and truly get in the bin. Quaxly, like Spriggy, is simple. It's a duck with a hat. I appreciate it's designed after the blue-footed booby. No complaints. Solid. Similarly, Quaxwell is also obviously a duck, with a bigger hat and chunkier legs, obviously in his awkward middle stage. Solid design again. Last up of the starters, Quaquaval is confusing? He does have a lot more going on like Skeledirge, but his line work and colour palette is consistent. I think more than anything, he really comes to life in game with those huge peacock feathers flamboyantly being flung around, plus the way he runs is beautiful. Gonna keep him on the solid tier for me because there's just something about him that doesn't personally gel fully for me, but he's not a bad design and I'll forgive you if you put him in Stunning if he is your jam. I think I'm going to be saying this kind of thing a lot, but Lechonk is just a pig, but he's cute, kind of stubborn looking, got a cute little stubby legs, and like Fuecoco, I would protect him from anything. God tier. Onkologne is also just a pig. No, seriously, there's a surprising amount of really basic designs in this generation. Doesn't mean they're all bad though. Has a male and female version, kind of going for the same ugly but lovable vibe like Purugly and Snubbull. Like in most of the real life animal kingdom, the male has more vibrant colours, and I appreciate that consideration in this design. Solid. Dunsparce is dumb. What the f is this? The laziest character design I've ever seen. Get in the bin. Tarantula is a ball of wool with spider appendages. It's incredibly literal and basic, but has a surprisingly cute face for a bug. It's growing on me. Spidops, on the other hand, is nightmare fuel that looks like it was created for the PS2. I do not care if it's meant to be made of bamboo, and that's the reason for the abrupt ends of its legs. It accidentally looks like it was made on a 20-year-old operating system. Get in the bin. Nimble is a surprisingly cute grasshopper that looks like it's made of metal. It's growing on me. Lokix, this is the first new name I'm super unsure of, is probably technically the best bug design of the game. If I was a bug fan, I'd probably love it. But why the dark typing over metal when it obviously looks like it's made out of metal? Plus it creeps me out. For now, it is also growing on me. Relor is literally a dung beetle rolling a pile of literally. It has no fun aspects, it just looks like they took a still from planet Earth and made it a cartoon. Too basic. Rapscat is the cute cousin of the scarab beetle from The Mummy. It's a very basic design, but the colours are fun, and I appreciate the magical psychic orb thing it's holding that looks like it could mind control you, much like how its scarier cousins take over their prey's minds and make them run into walls. And because The Mummy was one of my favourite scary films as a child, I'm putting this in solid. Grievard is a ghost dog. The candle is cute, the fur so long it covers its eyes is cute, its jaw is a little too big for my personal liking, and those feet would not work in the real world. They are too round at the bottom and it would not be able to stand. And this only bothers me because I know that there's a quote somewhere from one of the Pokemon directors saying that one of the most important things they consider in Pokemon designs is how that Pokemon would work in its environment and in the real world. And then they designed something that wouldn't even be able to walk. Still solid though. Houndstone, on the other hand, is Skull Greymon if it was at the rookie stage, and a dog. Despite the jaw still being a bit too big for my liking, I kinda love it. Stunning. Flittle is conflicting for me. It's f***ing adorable. Cute colour palette, cute eyes, looks like it's wearing a frilly dress, but, and it's a big but, I thought it was designed after a Dumbo octopus. I mean, look at these two. Brothers from another mother. But Bulbapedia's best guess at its name origin is a mix of flutter and little for the English name, and a mix of the onomatopoeia for fluttering and the word for chick in Japanese. So it's meant to be a bird? This does not compute. It would be god tier if it was actually an octopus and didn't evolve into an ostrich. Still stunning though. Espathra I probably hate more than is reasonable for the previous reasons. God, I wish they had given me a giant Dumbo octopus in this colour palette, not a f***ing ostrich. It isn't actually a bad design, still solid, I'm just buried in disappointment. Farad is dumb in the best kind of way. Girafarig's tail literally crawled its way up its neck and ate its head. Kinda love it, he's got good vibes, stunning. Wiglet, on the other hand, is dumb in the worst way. Why is the Pokemon Company pretending this isn't related to Diglett? It literally makes no sense. Dumb, just bad. And same with Wugtrio. Plus, it kind of makes me uncomfortable to look at. Evolving didn't help it, still just bad. Dondozo is a chonky sushi chef catfish. He looks like he works a 50-hour work week and smokes like a Japanese businessman. A simple colour palette and good shape language. Solid. God only knows why the sushi Pokemon isn't next. Veluza is just a fish with some purple fins that aren't even that fancy. Too basic for me. Finizen is also literally just a cartoon dolphin. But if I was a kid, I would have loved this Pokemon. I had a dolphin bedroom as a kid and I went to swim with them when I was like a memory obviously soured by how cruel I now know this to be. F*** you, SeaWorld and Discovery Cove. Having said that, the pure childish joy I get from looking at this Pokemon saves it from being basic. Solid. And then it evolves and gets a heart on its chest? I wish that was all that happened. If that was the case, it would be too basic by far. But no, wait. What is this actual nightmare fuel? Its hero form creeps me out. All Might does not belong in the Pokemon world. I do not care how much you love Boku no Hero Academia, this needs to get in the bin. Smoliv is a small olive that feels the anxiety of the world on its little face. I vibe, kawaii AF, stunning. Obviously evolving into the kinda Gothitelle, Serena, Lilligant line of this generation, Dolive is also kinda cute. It's the mid-evolution, so expectedly a little awkward, but still adorable, solid. I literally just got Arboliva in-game. I really hope that's how you pronounce that. And I still don't know how I feel about it. It's not a bad design, it's technically a pretty damn good design, but something isn't jamming with me and I can't tell what. It's growing on me though. Casper Kid is purposefully designed nightmare fuel. I mean, what based on a Kappa is a nightmare fuel. It creeps me out, but I get that that's the point. Obviously great, but the creep factor is landing it in solid for me. Somebody tell me how a Kappa, which is a frog-like thing, evolves into chili peppers? I get what they were going for with Scavillain, but I just don't think it works. It needed reworking just a little bit more. Just bad. Tadbulb is exactly what it says on the tin. It's a tadpole that kind of looks like a light bulb. It would be basic if it didn't have such a cute little face. Solid. Bellybolt is every Squishmallow lover's dream, a perfect plushie design. I need a life-size plush of this to exist right now, Pokemon Company. God tier. Varoom is one of the fake lawnmowers you get as a child, but it's a car engine. Kinda basic, only redeeming point is the name Varoom. And why are Revaroom and Varoom, great names, engines on rocks? Why not all metal? Can't help but feel like they overthought this. Just bad because I bet there is a better version on the cutting room floor. Orthworm is literally a worm made of metal. that for some reason doesn't have the ground type. Kinda goofy face, but honestly this design does not excite me and is pretty basic. Tandemaus is weird. I think I would appreciate this design more if it were a single basic stage Pokemon. This might be the most bland and basic design of the lot though, as it is. And adding 1 or 2 smaller ones to its evolution mouse hold? Nope, nope, and nope. I would be happier expecting this as a different form than I would be an evolution. Still bland, but they doubled down on it? Just bad. Satoddle is the happiest baby whale you will ever meet, and again, I must protect it no matter the cost. Look at that little toothy, god tier. Say Titan is exactly what I expect from an evolution. Bigger, meaner, and more spikes. Love it, stunning. Frigibax kind of gives me the creeps. Looks like it would be slimy to touch in the worst way, but it's not a bad design. It's growing on me. Especially as when it evolves to Artibax, it redeems itself indefinitely. The Ice Dragon cousin to Charmeleon, it's mean and moody teenager mid-evolution design at its best. Stunning. And then Baxcalibur is literally the cherry on the cake of this evolution line. It's literally Godzilla, and I didn't need or want it to be anything else. Must have, god tier. And then like 20 Pokemon after the sushi chef, we finally get the sushi. Tatsugiri has fun, coloured forms, it's cute and obviously sushi. A solid design really, but I can't help but feel like I would have liked to see an evolution. Kind of feels a bit useless as it is. If I had a mech category, this guy would be hanging out all there by his lonesome, but for now, it's just too basic. I am torn about Cyclizar. Like Tatsugiri, I wish it had an evolution because it's just kind of basic as it is. Maybe that's just because when it was announced at Worlds, we all thought it was the pre-evo for Koraidon and Miraidon though, so I kind of had it in my mind that it would become something bigger and better, but as it is, it's just kind of bland and kind of basic. Pawmi is a fantastic Pikachu clone for this generation. Love, 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 stunning. But why it needs to be a 3-stage evolution, I do not know. For starters, none of the generational Pikachus, bar the Pika line itself, has ever been an evolutionary line. So why now? And Pawmo itself as a mid-evo feels very much like filler. It doesn't embody any of the teenage or awkward vibes I've grown to love in middle evolution Pokemon. The Pawmi line is linear enough as it is, and Pawmo does not need to exist within that. It can get in the bin. Now, if Pawmi had turned straight into Pawmot, that would be more like it. He's upright, larger and fluffier, but has a dumb face, and I kind of love that. Back to stunning. Wattrel is a yellow bird that looks like it's just pooped itself. Nothing exciting here, again, looks like any old cartoon bird. Doesn't have that Pokemon pizzazz, basic AF. Kilowattrel is an improvement for sure. Mean looking, has the Thunderbolt shaped motif as its feather design, has that Pokemon pizzazz, a solid design. Bombardier, like Greavard, is another Pokemon that bothers me because it just doesn't work on a biological level. I get the design, it's the whole stork carrying a baby, but the minute it lands, that bib stops it from walking anywhere without tripping over. Dumb. Just bad. Squawkabilly is a fun little dude with a fun name and a fun design, but why 4 versions that are just colour swaps? I honestly would have preferred 4 variants like the Oricorio line. Not a bad design, just feel like they could have done more with it. It's growing on me. Flamigo belongs in the group of Gen 9 Pokemon that are literally cartoon versions of a Planet Earth screenshot. Not offensive, but certainly lazy. Just bad. Clorf is dumb looking in the best way. It looks like it's in a constant state of confusion. Some of the line language bothers me on a personal level, but not enough to distract from an overall solid design. Knackley is like the Mario mushroom and Minecraft had a baby. Kinda cute, it's growing on me despite how basic it is, and I love the scientific name. Come Knacklestack though, they're not even trying to hide that this is a Minecraft inspired Pokemon. Leave Minecraft in Minecraft. I hate this so much, certainly for the bin. Garganacl though is a slightly better evolution, because while it is still very Minecraft inspired, it looks like it would feel at home with the Titans from Hercules. It's growing on me. Glimmet gives creepy yet beautiful deep sea creature energy, and I think that's exactly what it's meant to do. Solid. Glimmora comes to life when it's all puffed out. Still giving creepy yet beautiful deep sea energy, but I wish it was puffed out all the time. Stunning. I hated Trudel when I first saw it because I had seen Grafii first. It looks more akin to a mole than the mouse it's meant to be because of the lack of ears. And why is a mouse evolving into a lemur? Having said that, if I just look at it by itself and just look at the design, ignoring any knowledge of what it is meant to be and what it's meant to evolve into, it is a fun little design. It's growing on me. Grafii is everything that makes a Pokemon. Good shape language, relatable to the real world, great color palette, one of the most Pokemon looking Pokemon of this generation. Stunning. Why this generation needed so many birds and dogs, I'll never know. Fido, on the bright side, is a fantastic design and play on words. Would protect, god tier. The major thing that bothers me about Dashbun is how little fairy type moves it naturally learns for a fairy type Pokemon. Ignoring that fact though, this is a fantastic design. Fido is bigger, longer, and baked. As a design, god tier. Considering how great the designs were of the fairy dogs and the ghost dogs in this generation, the dark dogs Mastiff and Mabastiff are a major letdown. We've had fantastic dark dogs before. Houndoom and Mightyena are off the top of my head. Both of these look more like normal types, and because of that, they're just bad. You know how I've been making this point that this generation is a lot of very literal, just make this IRL thing a cartoon, Planet Earth screenshot and draw over kind of deal Pokemon? Well, Bramblin and Bramblegast are the pinnacle of this, but in the worst way. I cannot decide whether they're on the same level of Voltorb and Electrode, or if they're worse. Either way, they can get in the bin. I'm glad this tier list I chose has each form for Gimmighoul alone. Roaming form, he's fun. He's a little guy that's trying his best to find coins. I dislike how flat he is, but I can forgive that for a fairly solid design. Chest form, on the other hand, is another ridiculously literal make this IRL thing a cartoon chest, but stick Gimmighoul in it. I wish they had found a more inventive way to do this. Just bad. Goldango scares the bejesus out of me. I get why it's that shape. It does make sense. It has to be that shape for all the coins to be stacked on top of each other. And I do kind of like the little chest as a backpack. It's growing on me. The past Paradox Pokemon are some of my favourite designs from both games. Great Tusk, aka past Donphan, is I think everything I love in a design. Kind of fluffy, but kind of angry and mean, but still relatable to the IRL animal it's based on. God tier. In defense of Brute Bonnet, I didn't like Amoonguss in the first place, and this has not added anything to my opinions on that Pokemon. Amoonguss was just bad, and this is still bad. Why Magneton? Why a fluffy Magneton? If it's truly past, then metal wouldn't exist. Having it made out of wood like Hisui and Voltorb would have made more sense. Sandy Shocks can get in the bin. I thought I was really going to hate Screamtail, but I can't say no to that little vampire face. I would go broke buying past Jigglypuff all the ice cream and donuts it could ever want. I know a lot of people are going to hate me for this, but god tier. Fluttermane is kinda cool. I don't have anything against it. Misdreavus was a good design to begin with, and they didn't mess with that. Solid. Back in the day, Volcarona took a while to grow on me, but I think that's because I would have been over the moon if it had been evolved into Slitherwing initially. This is what I had always wanted Volcarona to be in the first place. God tier. Roaring Moon is Mega Salamence on acid. Love it, want to have a whole new world moment riding on its back. God tier. I see why they made Iron Treads the way they did, but I just don't like it on a personal level. It lost all the dinosaurness I kinda loved about Donphan, even though it's obviously meant to be an elephant. And while I personally don't like it, I can't deny it's a solid design. Iron Moth is Volcarona with solar panels for wings. Kind of enjoy it, but not more than I like original Volcarona. Solid. Jesus Christ, what is Iron Hands? I didn't like Hariyama to begin with, and this makes it even worse. Just bad. I kind of get what they were going for with Iron Jugulus, and I appreciate the neon pinks for that futuristic glow, but again, I think they accidentally took away everything dinosaur-y that I loved about Hydreigon. Not bad, just personally not for me. It might be growing on me. On the other hand, Iron Thorns is Mechagodzilla in Pokemon. Not mad at all. A glowing Tyranitar is a win in my book. Stunning. If I ever see Iron Bundle creeping in through my window at night to deliver presents, I'm melting it with fire. Poor Delibird, they did not do you justice. Iron Bundle is nightmare fuel that can get in the bin. And ending on a good note with the Paradox Pokemon, Iron Valiant is the perfect mix of Glade and Gardevoir come to rescue me from evil. Very Power Rangers meets Future Magical Girl, God tier. Now, these legendary Pokemon as a whole, I have some issues with because they don't feel, well, very legendary. They all look like, for the most part, really good normal Pokemon designs, but they don't feel any more special than, say, a Zoroark or a Mamoswine. Having said that, I've noticed as I've gone through this generation, this is probably the most literal and basic generation since Gen 1, and this might be a win for some, but it's fair to say that the birds and Mewtwo certainly didn't have that extra flair that even the Gen 2 legendaries have. Also, why have we got Chinese mythology in a region based on Spain? And with that all beared in mind, let's start with Xinglu. Please forgive me if I am pronouncing these ones wrong. Honestly, for me, this is by far the worst of the lot. Maybe there's something in its mythology that is getting lost in translation for me. I can forgive this big ancient bull horns it's got on its head, for example. It's just the main body I have a dislike for. It's bland, but it does accurately look like it's a rock come to life. Too basic, especially for a legendary. Shenpao is my second favourite of this group. Again, doesn't look like a legendary, but that doesn't mean it's not a bad design. I actually hated the stark difference between how natural and animalistic most of the design was in juxtaposition to those obviously man-made steel fangs before, but it's grown on me so much I'll now consider it a solid design. Woshen is odd, but I kind of love it. As a design, it's obviously great, and I can really imagine this existing in the real world. Natural, organic, stunning. And Chiyu is the icing on the cake, a fish literally made of fire with yin-yang beads for eyes. They could have made this a lot more badass, but I'm kind of glad they didn't. He's a perfect little dude, God tier. Now Koraidon feels like a legendary. Look at this bad boy, a feathery dinosaur coming at you all guns a-blazing. The reason I chose Scarlet over Violet, God tier. Miraidon feels equally legendary and for all the right reasons. God of technology and Tamagotchis. My only beef is when it's all powered up and in full form, I dislike the use of jets for legs. Still stunning though. The Tinkaton line is after the legendaries, so it's in the same place as the Dragonair line or the Tyranitar line is in the first two generations. So while I do love this line, it doesn't feel grand enough to be at this point of the Pokedex. Bearing that in mind, Tinkatink gives me the creeps. Technically a good design, just not my jam. Not quite growing on me yet either, so it can stay in just bad. Similar feelings for Tinkatuff, not a fan, just bad. Now Tinkaton, if we had started here and worked our way up to something meaner and bigger, that would be my jam. But as it is, it's the peak of this line. Still stunning though. Like a T-Rex, Charcadet looks like its head is so big that a fall at any speed could be lethal. Kinda goofy, kinda cute, a solid design. Armarouge is Mega Man's fiery cousin. Technically a good design, I'm just bitter I had to give up his obviously much cooler counterpart for the sake of Koraidon. Growing on me. Ceruledge is so freaking cool, the only way to describe the feeling I get is an anime girl with sparkle hearts fluttering out of her eyes while she screams "Kakoi!" God tier. Toad's school is creepy because of how it walks, but a solid design. Toad's crew is even creepier because it's more of the same reason, but now it has a sucker. Still solid though. King Gambit is the Pawniard evolution I didn't know we needed. Too OP looking for its own good. Don't know why it wasn't in Legends Arceus considering Samurai vibe? Stunning. Clodsire is the best good boy that ever existed. God tier. And finally, Annihilate is terrifying but in the best possible way. Another evolution I didn't know we needed. Stunning. And with that, we are done. So what do you guys think? Feel free to rage away in the comments at everything you disagree with. But for now, I bid you sayonara. Stay safe out there, you beautiful people. Peace!